conversations and storytelling helps us connect with each other, teaches us relatable life lessons, and helps us define who we are as humans. This podcast is focused around women from all walks of life, how we grow, navigate, impact the world that we live in to tell the often untold story. The Rise of Woman is a story of loss, growth, triumph, inspiration, fabulous failure, and all in between. Warning, in this podcast, there is cursing and adult content.
Hello, my name is Asiah Coleman. I am 36 years old. My zodiac sign is the Ram. I'm an Aries. Today I am fasting, so I am super hungry. And you're listening to the Lorraine Infinity Let's Talk podcast.
That's Asiah. And in this episode, we will hear the unapologetic story of a woman who is finding her own way as a mother, in her career, in love, and so much more.
Let's talk.
Yes. So I'm really, really excited to have you here. I've known you for fucking forever.
A couple years. No.
A couple. So this is going to be really fun. The reason why I wanted to have you on this podcast is because we are like night and day. And we are like oil and vinegar. And so in order for us to keep our friendship going, we have to shake it up all the time. So our friendship is, lack of a better word, adventurous. I've seen you through struggles and you've seen me through struggles. And we went to undergrad together.
Yes.
And I respect your positive outlook on life. And your daughter's cute. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit. But so that's why I wanted to have you on this podcast. And you inspire me because you are always doing something to try to make yourself better. And I like it. Not everybody does that. So we're going to jump right in. What is that moment that impacted your life?
Definitely will have to be when I moved from California to Alabama.
Ooh, yeah, talk about it.
I mean, that was a huge life-changing experience for me because I was leaving everything. My family, friends. I knew no one in Alabama. So it was scary but exciting.
Why'd you move?
I had to get away from my family. Mm-hmm. It was just toxic. Mm-hmm. Too toxic.
And this was to go to undergrad?
Yes, this was to go to Stillman College, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Woo-hoo. HBCU. Yeah, I actually was already 21. I was working full time, and I said, I'm going to college. I don't care. I'm going to the South.
Interesting.
And I just kind of picked Stillman. I knew nothing about it.
You didn't get recruited?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Because our thing is we're always like, oh, Stillman sold us a dream, baby.
Nope.
You weren't? Okay.
Nope. I was going to community college, and I went in and got a whole bunch of pamphlets, and I was like, okay, I'm going to this school. And it was Stillman.
Stillman had a pamphlet at your school?
They did.
All right, Stillman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, I'm going here.
That's crazy.
I don't care what anybody says about Stillman College. That college changed my life.
It changed my life too.
And I think I got the best and worst experiences there.
I did too. So Stillman was the impact. But what was that moment that just changed your life? Like, have you ever been in that moment and you're like, my life's never going to be the same after whatever this is gets done? Like, even if it's something like, you know,
there's a lot of things that, I mean, not just Stillman. I mean, of course, having Riley, that was huge.
So Riley is who?
My daughter.
Your daughter.
My baby girl.
Yes, with all the personality in the world. And I was in the room when you had Riley.
Let's just back up as to how this came about.
Let's talk about it.
Like, it wasn't even she wasn't even ready. Well, she was, but she wasn't. So I got robbed at gunpoint. Mm-hmm. And ended up calling y'all.
How many months?
I was 9 months. So I had 3.5 more weeks.
Okay.
I was due at the end of September, and it was like the beginning of September. Mm-hmm. And I was going home from work at 5 o'clock, and these young kids just held a gun to my head. And then I was just traumatized from the whole thing. I didn't realize I was sitting in the bed eating guacamole, which I can't eat guacamole anymore. It makes me puke, and my water broke. And then here comes Gina and Damaris.
Well, let me pick up to that side of the story. So I had just gotten back from a cruise.
Yeah.
And I had just driven from Galveston, Texas to Austin.
Oh my God. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no.
So you passed Houston.
Yeah, no, I had just left Houston before you got robbed. So I got back. I was pulling into Austin, and me and my boyfriend at the time got back to my apartment, and we're laying in bed, and Damaris calls me, and we're in bed, and I tell him what happened, and we're both getting up, and he's literally helping me pack stuff to and I don't even think I ended up taking anything. I got my keys and got dressed, maybe took a shit or something, and then got on the road, and I was and so Damaris is coming from Dallas, and I'm coming from Austin to Houston. And you're with your roommate at the time at the hospital, and we pull up, and then there you are.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, that happened, and she came safely, even though I was all jacked up.
Doctor.
But I just wasn't ready, man. So, but yeah, of course, she changed my life for sure.
Yeah.
I was not ready to be a mom. I honestly did not want to be a mom.
Right. I didn't know that.
Nope, I did not. And I even let him know I did not want to do this, but I did it.
And him was your husband at the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I couldn't imagine life without her.
Right, now.
At first I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because we even had a discussion about if you were going to keep Riley or not. Because it was the reality. And now looking at it, I don't know, I'm still a choice person, because looking at it, your life is different now, but if you never know, you never would have known.
Exactly.
Right?
And so I'm not saying that, abortion, yeah, but you definitely need to have that choice, because if it was any other man, even though I have issues with this one, I would definitely have not.
Right.
Just for the simple fact that it was them and the circumstances I was in.
Yeah.
I would not want to put a child in that.
Yeah.
And have to deal with that reality.
Yeah. Riley is an experience that changed your life, because that experience changed my life too, because Riley was stuck in your vagina, and all we could see,
wasn't ready to go.
Me and Damaris, all we could see was her head, and it would kind of slide back in a little bit and then pop back out a little bit, and I saw the rips and the poop.
Oh God.
Yeah, pregnancy.
Yeah, you tried
serious.
to show me the pictures. I refused.
Yeah, because I was taking the photos. Because at the time we thought
you were right in my vagina.
Yeah, but at the time we thought it was a great experience for your ex-husband to have, because he missed the birth because he was on a ship. I guess from the experience that has changed your life to the experience that has empowered you. What's an experience that has empowered you and propelled you forward in life?
When I decided to become a single mom, that was I was actually going to stay with him so I didn't have to be a single mom, because I was so scared.
Wow.
And I was just going to be you know what? I know he's cheating on me and he has a relationship, but I just don't want to do this by myself.
Right.
So I was going to just stick with it. But then after just thinking about it for a long time, I just was you know what? I need my happiness.
Yeah.
And that was a very empowering moment when I decided to end my marriage and just say I'm not doing it anymore. It was actually a lot of weight lifted off of me. I felt a lot better. Once I was nope, no more.
Right. Well, I mean, the whole time that I've known you as a mother, I've never thought of you as a mother with a husband.
Yeah.
Because you've always
done it by myself.
Yeah, because even when y'all were married, he is in the Navy, and so he wasn't there. So, yeah.
Even though I felt like I needed him.
Yeah.
I was still doing it by myself. So all along, I've been doing it by myself and was able to do it by myself, but didn't think I was capable of it for some reason. Some weird reason, yeah.
And through your friends, you found out he actually needed you for the bigger paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that was it's very hard, but I do it.
Yeah. You do it. You do. So tell me about the profession you should have had. If you weren't the Asiah you are and went the road you went, what would be your profession?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
I'd try to get my body together and be on a pole.
Okay, a stripper? That's what's up.
Like, for real.
Hey, respect.
But I wouldn't even consider myself a stripper. I would consider myself an exotic dancer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not like, I would be like one of those top-notch ones.
Like you flipping and
if I'm gonna do
popping.
it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
as
mine would be on.
I'm gonna be getting booked in different cities. Like, I'm gonna be a professional, like,
traveling.
at it. Yes, like
yeah,
like a Malaya. I don't know if you.
Girl,
I would definitely be a Malaya.
No, I understand, because
like, I've always wanted to do that.
I wouldn't hate on it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey girl, I'd be like, let me borrow 500.
Yeah, I mean, I really like would do it if I was like boom 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 in the body. I would have no shame, and I don't look at women like, I don't look down on women who are.
Yeah.
Now, what I do look down on are the women that are like on drugs.
When you get absorbed in the industry.
Because I know that it's easy to get sucked up in it, you know, but you have to, like, the people that have made it and that are like professional, like the Malayas and stuff, I'm pretty sure they had to go through a lot and to get where they are. But, you know, I don't know. I just think I would be good at it. Like, being seductive and like,
and some men look down on that. Yeah, some men look down on that, and I'm like, but you just realize you gave her your whole paycheck.
Yeah.
So call her a hoe if you want to, but
right,
you're paying for her
college,
Lexus, Bentley, Beamer, college with no debt, self, and the ring on her fingers.
It's all like a business.
It's business.
It's all business to me.
Yeah, if you play it as your business and not the thing that's going to absorb you. It's like me when I bartend.
Yeah.
If you play it as a business and don't let it suck your life up, then it's very lucrative in the right type of way. Yep. Interesting. So,
well, I like that you asked me that. I don't mean to cut you off,
you're
but
fine.
Like, you wanted me to like kind of be open, and like, I wasn't going to give you a cookie cutter answer, like, oh, I want to be an executive, you know, such and such, because that's probably what I would have said. But like, to be honest with you, like, deep down, I've like, I would.
That would have been your profession.
Dancer.
Yeah. You left Cali because you had to get away from your family and it was toxic, and so you moved to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which is how many hours away?
Oh God, it took us like 2 days. Okay, I don't know how many hours, but it took a long time.
And if you had to ride through Texas, God bless you, baby.
Yeah, we did, and it was like
a whole day through Texas. Yeah. So tell me about your family and the dynamic.
My family life was very, very rough. Growing up, my dad was a drug addict. He was addicted to crack and heroin when before I was even born. My mom was just I don't know why she even stayed with him, but she just allowed everything that happened to go on. We moved a lot. We were homeless.
Moved a lot in California?
No, I moved to Detroit. And then I moved to Colorado, and then I moved back to California.
Really?
Yeah.
Within how many years? How old are you?
I moved to Detroit when I was like maybe 8. And then we lived there for a few years in a motel room. And then we moved to Colorado, and I was probably like 10, maybe 11. Lived there for a few years, and then when I moved back to California, I was going to start almost my freshman year in high school.
Okay.
So it was like a couple years each. Yeah.
So you moved back to California, and at that time you were a senior in high school?
No. I was a freshman.
You were a freshman. So you spent the last 4 years in California. Same high school?
Yep.
What kind of stuff were you involved in?
I was very involved in like academics, all the clubs. I was like a nerd.
Okay.
The student body, Future Business Leaders of America.
All of
I
it.
did. Yeah, I was in all that.
See, I did all that, but I was in sports too. I did sports. I was a yearbook editor. I was a pure learning. What was it, like pure mediator? So like, there's a whole class that we would like literally like mediate. How do you feel? Well, did you think about this and this person? And we
So,
did
like,
team
therapy,
building.
kinda like.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Cool.
and we got to tell how we felt to the superintendent and all this kind of stuff. So, so wait, you went to Stillman and weren't you in band?
Yeah, but it's funny. So I was in the band in Colorado in middle school.
Okay.
So I learned how to play the flute.
Uh-huh.
So when I went to Stillman, I was in line at the CAF, and Coop, the band director,
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you play an instrument?" And I was like, "Well, I played the flute like in like 6th grade." He was
Yeah.
like, "Well, come and we'll give you a scholarship."
Shut up.
That's how it happened. I didn't even play. I wasn't even in the band in high school.
Yeah.
Nope.
And only at an HBCU that kind of stuff can
Yeah,
happen.
it
I
was
don't care what nobody
crazy.
says. Like,
Yeah.
we get these crazy, like, opportunities because, like, we're seen.
Yep, and I mean, they didn't. It's not like they gave me like a full ride. They gave me a
it's a
couple
private
thousand,
school.
but like still, I was like, heck yeah, and that was kind of like different for me because
Yeah.
I didn't imagine being in the marching band,
Right.
an HBCU marching band.
And then, yeah, like, you were really involved.
Pledged the sorority and everything. So
Yeah.
after I was a Delta,
Yeah. Oh, I remember because I was
Yeah.
like, them dumb bitches.
yeah,
I was like,
that was
okay.
Damaris that convinced me to do it. I didn't want to do it.
Mess. What's one thing that people fail to understand about you as a person?
That's a good question. I feel that my niceness is always taken advantage of. Like, I'm the type that'll treat you how I want to be treated. So I'm kind of telling you by showing you how I want you to treat me. Because I does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's with my friends, and that's with like relationships. That's how I'm vocal in my actions.
And people think you're a punk or something for
Yeah,
it.
people think I'm a pushover, but that's just me. People think that I'm a people pleaser, and I may be, but that's just me. That's who I've always been since I was young. So I don't want to change that. Now I do want to change, being so, to everyone, to be, not being nice to everyone and thinking everyone is your friend. That is something that I've definitely had to change, but that's just the type of person I am.
Okay.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a
Okay.
lot of sense.
Okay.
What's something that overwhelms you, like, in your life?
It's funny because I'm a workaholic, and I think that's my coping mechanism from my childhood.
Okay.
I'm a complete workaholic.
What do you mean?
Because I never had anything. We never had anything. I mean, we looked for cans to eat when we lived in Detroit. Like, we never had money. And so ever since I could work, and it was a very early age that I started working, I worked.
How old were you?
Well, I started like when I lived in Detroit. Well, actually, when I lived in California, I would go door to door trying to sell my toys so I could have money for the ice cream truck. And I was very young. And that was back in the day when door to door was not dangerous.
Right.
So,
Right, no, I know.
So that's the earliest I started trying to make money. And then when we moved to Detroit, I would get the maid's order in the motel room we lived in and go to Hardee's and get their food, and they would tip me. And that's how I made money to help like buy food.
All right, Nikki, you are like on a hustle.
Yeah, I'm a hustler.
You were a hustler.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And then when I was able to actually work, like when you get your worker's permit, I never stopped working. And
A worker's permit?
in California, if you're, I think 14, you have to get a worker's permit.
You have to get something like that in Texas.
Yeah, to
too.
say that you know, and so I got mine as soon as I turned like 14, and I worked all throughout high school. I worked
Were you
at
able to
Taco
keep your
Bell.
money?
No, I mean I was taking care of the family, like I was helping, like so I never like really had any money because every time I get paid, it was like, oh, can you help us with the light bill, or can groceries or this or that. So I was always like spending it.
Right.
So I never saved. My parents never taught me how to save.
Right.
So I just never did.
How many kids are in your family?
I have an older brother and I have an older half sister. So
And
I'm the baby.
You're the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever knew that.
Yep, I'm the baby. My brother's a year and a half old. No, a year and a week. We're a year and a week apart. So he's 37.
Uh-huh.
And my sister, my half sister, she's like 42. So she's older.
Half sister, mom or dad?
Dad.
So your dad stepped down on your mom?
No, she was already here.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was already...
She's like 6-7 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So there's technically only... So you grew up with your brother in the house?
Yes.
Did your brother get a job too and do that kind of stuff?
Nope.
Okay.
Mm-mm. He actually just recently got a job for the first time ever.
Really?
Like, legit job.
So what was he doing?
He... You know, it's funny because my brother was never... My mom never talked to my brother about what was going on, but I was like my mother's mother. She would tell me everything that was going on. We didn't have money, everything.
Okay.
My brother probably, I think he was always like with a friend, or he
just stayed out of the damn way.
Stay out of the way, yeah. Even when we lived in Detroit, he was always with a friend. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Okay.
Did your dad's drug addiction like equate to any like abuse in the family in any type of way?
There was for the kids, for us it was verbally. Well, for me, it was a lot of verbal abuse. My mom, they would fight, and that was just because my dad wanted money. It wasn't just like he was just beating on her, but they would fight. He would
like
fight
argue.
Her. They would physically fight too.
Yeah, yeah, and you would see it. How did that play into you as a human?
I've been in an abusive relationship.
1, 2.
I've been in verbally abusive, but I've been one physically abusive. I couldn't believe now looking back that I even allowed that crap. Like, why didn't I just beat his ass? Because I could.
Yeah.
So, it just threw him out. Anyways, you know about it a little bit already.
Yeah, something about it.
But yeah, I don't look at it I'm not trying to be an advocate or anything. Now I'll tell you my story. If you want to listen, but I'm no way like, I want to be an advocate for, I'm not for domestic violence or anything.
Right.
It was an experience that I probably needed to experience. Not that I say I deserve to be hit.
Right.
But it's made me, all the experiences that I've had,
make you who you are.
Yeah. I don't think of it as like, oh, woe is me, feel bad for me. No, I'm pretty strong now because of it. Even though I have low times, I still I'm making it. So there's reasons why I'm still making it from my past.
And I get you, because I don't feel like in any way you're saying any of that stuff was okay. But like I told somebody in another podcast we were doing, it's more like one of those things, like you don't wish bad on anybody. You don't wish anything like that happens to anybody. But as things happen, after you go through them and you embrace them, you have to start making them part of your development and your growth. So yeah.
I don't like, I'm a believer of, and see, I feel like not a lot of people, everybody's different.
Right.
So there's some people that, are used to that, and that's all they go for, are men that are abusive. And then there's some people that, like, you're in that relationship, you learn from it, you see the red flags, and you're like, okay, I can't deal with that anymore. Like, there's people that are okay with being in an abusive relationship. They're fine with that, and I'm not gonna talk them out of it, because they have this. We're adults, you know what I mean?
All you can be, right and wrong, there for them.
Yeah. So,
and it's so true. The older I get, like, you literally cannot help anybody that is not ready to be helped or does not want to be helped.
Yep.
And it's two different things. Being ready and wanting to be helped are two different things, but you have to be ready for anything that comes. So, are you enjoying what you're hearing? Follow us on Instagram at LRI Let's Talk. If you could ask a single person one question and they had to answer truthfully, who and what would that question be, and who would you ask?
I would like to ask a lot of people that question, but I probably would ask my dad. I would want closure from
Is your dad alive?
He's alive, but he's not, he had a stroke and a heart attack, brain damage, so he's not the dad that I knew. Somebody has to take care of him. He's basically like a child. So you can't really talk to him. He doesn't
takes
talk.
care of him?
He's like in a home now. He's been there for years. I mean, this happened. I was at Stillman when this happened.
So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it happened. We pledged 2005, 6.
We crossed in 6, yeah.
2006. This happened like 2007.
Okay.
So yeah,
I had no idea.
So yeah, he's not. I just felt like I had no closure with him. So.
And now you can't really.
No.
He's just
and I feel like I can't forgive him either. So I would want to know, like, why you didn't for your children. Why you continue to do drugs and have us live the lifestyle we had to experience.
Right.
And not give us any type of chance. Like, I had no chance. Like, my success was all by the grace of God. Like, people that I met as I was getting older, like, you know, I had mentors and people that came in my life that showed me a better life.
Right.
My parents didn't show me that. They didn't show me any of that. So I had to learn on my own. So I just felt like they didn't give us any type of chance to be successful.
Okay. No. It makes sense. So talking about growing up and having a really challenging upbringing, on top of that, you are half black and half white. And you are 36, right?
Yes.
And so you are of a generation where you're not common. Like now, like millennials kids just mix it up in a pot and comes out. Like, kids are different. Black men especially are marrying white women or being with white women. But how does all of that play into your psyche of, you know, who you are now? And how did that affect you growing up? And what do you identify as?
So I identify as other. So when I have to check a box on an application, I'm not going to identify as black and I'm not going to identify as white.
I didn't know that.
Back in the day, you know, you only had those options. Now there's other, or one or two other races. There's that option.
I don't like other. I like the one or two other races.
There used to be other, and now it's like changed.
People are getting woke.
Yeah. So like, I don't identify with either because
I didn't know that.
I feel like I'm both. Like I'm just me. Like, I don't want to identify as either race. You know, a lot of people call me white girl because of the way I talk, because I don't talk white. I talk correct. I don't see it as talking black or white. That's stupid to me.
It's diction.
Yeah, like I enunciate correctly. Okay. Anywho, but I've gone to school with all whites. I've gone to school with all blacks.
Yeah.
I've gone to school with a mix.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, growing up, I never made it a race thing, even though I've been called the N-word.
Yeah.
I've been called like mixed jokes and all that. You know, I've gone through all that, but it never was like, I just kind of brushed it off. I didn't care.
That was like the least of your worries.
Yeah, like I really never cared. I mean, when I lived in Colorado, I've been called the N-word several times.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Detroit, and I dealt with girls that didn't like me because I had long hair. I was light skinned. Like, I got into a fight with a little girl, you know? So, but I still never like hated one race or anything like that. You got it from both ends. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of just kept it moving. It was just kind of like, I'm just growing up. This is stuff that, you know, people ask me all the time, how is it living with a white mom? And I'm just like, or how is it being mixed? Or how is it, you know, with your family and stuff? And I'm just like, you don't know any better when it's not even better. You just don't know different. Yeah, it's just life. So, I mean, I still get it, you know, even at 36.
Right.
Because you said, like, it's not, when I was growing up, it wasn't as common. So our age group, there's not a lot of I'm there are, but now everyone's mixed.
Yeah. And we were then too, just.
Yeah, and I'm not a big thing on race. Like, when it comes to, like, this, you know, the killings and stuff like that, I think it's wrong. And I think, but I never pull a race card. I've never pulled a race card. I actually...
So I have to stop you there, because that term pulling a race card is almost like, you know how you be playing spades and shit and you be pulling out those good cards? I don't think it's pulling out a card when it's a reality, right? So... I
mean, I feel that some people go... it's like they're a little extra with it.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, last week I was at the post office and there was a black lady. She walked in and she was like, I want to speak to your manager, just right off. And I'm, sitting in line and stuff, and she was talking to an older black woman, and the lady was like, well, our manager's not here right now. She's at lunch. And so the older lady had said something to her, and so she just went off and was like, you dumb bee, and blah, 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 blah. And she was like, I don't see you talking to that white woman like that, because she was helping a white lady. And I just felt like you didn't have to go there, because it wasn't even about that.
It was irrelevant.
Okay. Like you didn't even have to go there. And like, I just feel like sometimes, and it goes both ways with black people and white people, they just get extra with it. And I just think it's uncalled for. Now, sometimes it is a race thing. Yeah. Because there are black people that are stuck in their ways, and there's white people that are stuck in their ways. I mean, my grandfather was. They're just, you can't change them.
Your grandfather?
My white grandfather. Okay, yeah. You can't change them when they're like,
you can just show people better.
Yeah. And they choose like to learn.
Right. Just kind of like you were saying with your actions. So how is it being a mother to a black child? And have you seen that affect Riley?
No, not at all. I don't even look at it as me being a mother to a black child. I'm a mother to Riley. Like, there's nothing different about her that I think, I don't even look at it that way. Okay. Now, I've been asked if that was my child before, because she's darker.
Yeah. And she's not even dark.
No.
She's not dark, whatever that means.
Right.
So this is a question that I'm sure some of our listeners are wondering, because it's a topic, hell, it comes up on NPR that white couples are adopting black children, and they are losing part of their identity, because I do think that's important. I think that knowing where you come from, regardless if it's Switzerland or Africa or Jamaica, praise him, or Alaska, like, where you come from, and how you're tied and connected. And in my opinion, sometimes I think out of fear, parents that are not quote unquote of color distance themselves from that, because they have never known it. And so they either don't know how to give it to their kid of color, or they just prefer to think of it that everybody's the same. And in my opinion, everybody's not the same. And I think the more that we acknowledge that and embrace that as humans, it's so much more better, in this, because why wouldn't white kids know about quote unquote black history when it's really just American history? Right. And why wouldn't we celebrate something? Because when we say Native Americans, well, no, it wasn't America when they were here. So indigenous, I like indigenous. It sounds like a little bit more luxurious. Like, their brand is upped, because that's what it is. Or why wouldn't you teach your child about their Jewish heritage instead of sweeping it away? Yeah. You know what I mean? So when you're looking at it like that, I mean, do you talk to Riley about like black history, and does she know that kind of stuff? And like, I think it's important to identify with who you are through and through, right? So how does that work for you? How do you navigate that, if you do at all?
I don't really think about it much, but she goes to a Catholic school, and it's a predominantly black Catholic school right now. And I did that is because I wanted her to have structure. And I'm not gonna say I'm a religious person. So her learning the Catholic prayer and stuff like that was okay for me. Yeah. And I want her to know Black History Month and all that, but then I eventually want her to go to a mixed school, because I want her to be friends with all races. So I think she's still kind of young. I mean, Black History Month, she celebrated that. We talked about Martin Luther King and stuff like that. I want her to know all that. I'm open to her learning everything. I want her to know all races. I want her to have friends in all different races and walks of life. Right. You know what I mean?
It's cooler that way.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
It's cooler having it all. Would you rather be crazy rich or deeply in love?
You know what? I'm just going to say what I want. I would rather be crazy rich.
Okay. Why? Because,
man, these days, it's just, you could be deeply in love and think you're in love, and it really was a fake. I'm not saying I don't believe in love, but I think, not that you can buy love, but you can live a good life. I mean, I don't know. I'm at a point in my life that if I'm never in a relationship, if I'm financially good, I don't care.
You Gucci.
Yeah, I really don't care. It's just the scene nowadays is just trash in my eyes.
Yeah, and I'm
not trying to be negative.
No, you're not. I don't think you're being negative.
Things into existence. I want to be in love, but I would choose money. Because I'll be good and I'll be able to live my life. And then somebody you're not saying that I would never find love if I was crazy rich, right?
That's deep, Asiah. If you had the knowledge of when you were going to die, and you could choose this, what would your final words be?
Turn up.
You say that all the time too. It's so annoying.
Turn up.
Turn up. Turn up. Okay. What's something that triggers you? What's a trigger for you?
Oh, when somebody's when they're like, you don't need that. When they tell me I don't need something. Or I don't need to, oh, you don't need to eat that. Or you don't need to go do that. Or you don't, I hate when people say that.
People do that?
I mean, sometimes they have. Yeah, that's really a trigger. Dirty people, that's a trigger.
Like what kind of dirty?
Like if I go in your house or if you invite me over and your house is a mess, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, know-it-alls are triggers too. When I'm doing my job and I know that I'm doing my job right and you're trying to tell me how to do my job, yeah.
You are listening to the LRI Infinity Let's Talk podcast. That's LRI Let's Talk on Instagram. After college, right? It's funny because I'm gonna have to navigate these interviews when I start not knowing people. After college, you moved to Houston, and you were living with who? And y'all got a surgery or something together?
Yeah. So I was living with Lionel, Sean, and Kendall, yeah. So, we all lived together. They actually, Kendall had already had his gastric bypass surgery. As soon as I moved there, the next day, Sean had his. And then I had mine a year and a half later.
Oh, all three of y'all had gastric bypass surgery.
We did.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And how did that affect you? And what was that procedure like?
So it definitely changed my life. I was over 300 pounds all throughout college too. I mean, I was just getting bigger.
During college? Were you just eating a lot? Because you were in the marching band and everything.
I just was eating really bad. My choices were really bad and then late. And just didn't care what I was eating. You know, not that I was just sitting there just stuffing my face. It was just my choices were bad.
Right.
And I would try to work out. I've lost weight and gained weight and lost weight and gained weight. You know, I know what I need to do. But I'm an emotional eater. So when that starts,
you're like, fuck it.
Yes.
I am too.
So, so I had type 2 diabetes. I had high blood pressure, had all that. And so at first I was like, I ain't getting that surgery. That's the easy way out. I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I was like, yeah, I probably need to do it.
How much did it cost?
So my insurance paid for it. I was working at the Cheesecake Factory and I had Aetna insurance and I think I spent maybe $600.
Wow.
And my insurance paid for it. It was like an $18,000 surgery. So because I had type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, I qualified. And so I took all the steps, because you had to go through a series of things to get it, to qualify.
Yeah.
I did all of it, and I qualified. So
it's just, how does the process work after? Like,
I mean, you definitely have to learn how to eat again. I got it's called the Roux-en-Y, which they totally reroute my intestines and take off a portion of my stomach. And so you really cannot eat for the first few months, your liquid diet and soft foods and stuff. So you have to learn how to eat again and what you can and can't eat. And I don't think anyone's mentally prepared for that. Going from eating what you want, even though you have to go to, have to see a psychiatrist and all that before you have your surgery, you're still not mentally prepared for what's about to happen. So you still try things, and your body completely rejects it, and you just throw it up.
Yeah, I remember like coming down for, I don't remember the weekend, but it was a weekend, and y'all three were staying together, and you had just gotten the surgery.
That was the Greek weekend. I had just had the surgery.
Oh, yeah.
I was like a week out.
And the funny thing, and even now sometimes, because the surgery still affects you now.
Yeah.
You order everything.
Yep.
And then you'll eat like 2 bites of this and 2 bites of that.
Yep. And
2 bites of that. And now thinking about it, I need to be smarter, because if you're ordering all that food, I can just eat your food.
Yeah, because I still have that, I don't want to say that fat girl mentality, but I mean, there's still sometimes that I'm just like, I don't care. This is what I want. Like, I'm so hungry that like everything looks good, so I just want to try everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Like, I think food is a very good enjoyment of life.
It is.
And I think that because who we are, and we're millennials and late Xers, we are definitely conscious. And so, especially now, so we can pass that down to our kids.
For sure.
Yeah. And they can be conscious.
It's still okay to enjoy good food, but you need to know, moderation is really big, and your health, because we want to be alive. We want to see our kids have kids,
and we know we can live a long time.
Exactly. So I still love to eat, but I know that I'm not getting any younger, so my health is more important. So.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about yourself?
That I never give up, even though I want to sometimes. I keep going. I'm self-motivated, for sure.
When's the time you wanted to give up that just comes to you right off the top of your head?
This last weekend. I want to give up a lot. A lot.
Why?
Life gets overwhelming sometimes. And sometimes it's nice to have somebody, and it doesn't have to be like you're a man, but just some kind of support. And I feel like, I'm kind of alone right now. And not that I don't have friends, but I deal with my own struggles sometimes by myself. Yeah. And so I just don't feel like talking about them. I don't feel like people, knowing about what I'm going through until I'm ready to tell you. So, yeah, I don't even know where I was going with this, but like, it's just, I feel like I keep going no matter what. So I like that about me. I haven't like given up.
That you always just go for it and move forward. What do you think the world sees you as?
Mixed.
Yeah, but like, so what was it? Halle Berry or somebody? It's like if you have one.
See me black.
Yeah,
they see me black.
I think that you identify closer to black than you. I don't know if it's care to admit or realize or whatever. I feel like you're pretty connected to your black. Probably more than you actually think.
But it's not like on purpose. It just kind of
but like, I think it's one of those things that I think sometimes we're so used to wanting to play the middle that, and it's not always like popular to pick one side or the other. But I think that you, as a person in observation, identify black. And I've heard you say that.
I don't feel that I do. I feel I identify as both. I really do. But I may have said that. I mean, hell, I am. Yeah. I can if I'm black.
You have the opportunity to identify with whatever.
Yeah. So like if I, yeah.
What's something that you've been shamed about?
Shamed?
Yeah, like got like shame, shame. Like something you've been shamed about. What's something you've been shamed about?
Being with him getting married.
Who shamed you?
His family. Yeah, they thought that it was all me.
Like you trapped him.
Yeah, I trapped him by getting pregnant. And yeah.
How did y'all meet?
He took me over to their house and I met him.
The family. How'd you meet?
We met on
blackpeoplemeet.com.
And I don't like to tell people. I am embarrassed about that.
Yeah, it's fine. Hey, we are in an age. That's how we meet people.
Oh my God, I'm super embarrassed by that one.
So they shamed you by saying you like trapped him into that situation, and then y'all got married right before he
left for Japan.
And then everything rolled out and played out from there.
Yeah.
The saga of like cheating, and you having Riley and everything else. And so right now, where are y'all at?
We don't speak.
And you're divorced? And you're divorced.
Yep.
Okay. And you said that liberates you, everything's off the chest. How are you with the family?
We actually are doing pretty good.
Okay. How did that come into fruition?
It's a lot of drama. It's a lot of drama, but
too much extra.
Yeah, but he lied about some things to them, and I just
with you
about me.
Okay.
And I just randomly was talking to his mother one day, and it came out, and the truth came out, and
oh God.
She was just like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know this was going on. I'm so sorry," and it just like. The whole air and it just lifted. It was like a dark cloud and just like, yeah. And it's just been pretty good since then,
Cool.
Like we talk and, Riley goes over there and stuff like that. So
yeah, and Riley has a pretty cool relationship
she's
with
starting
her
to get real comfortable and stuff. And so I'm, she's taking Riley to school, to swimming. So yeah, that part is good. But we don't really talk.
Okay.
And yeah, he's just not involved at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I do celebrate in my girlfriends that have kids is they really use their community to help raise their kids. And I think that's how it should be. Like, I think I'm on like almost all my friends within 4 hours, like their kids emergency contact list, like so I can pick them up from school and I can get them, and they're not afraid to be like, hey, and if I can't do it, I can't do it, somebody else can do it. But really using community to like help raise kids is important, and I think that also plays into diversity. Because hell, all your friends don't look like you, and even if they do, all their stories aren't the same.
I've been blessed to have a pretty good village. My friends have definitely been her family, so that's why I want her to be involved with her grandmother. I want her to have a real family. Like my friends are her family.
I get you.
But she needs to know her
that
family.
Blood.
Yeah, so that's why she's going to California. I want her to get to know them, even though they're not all that. They made bad choices in their life. That's still
and
her
you
people.
have the disconnects. It doesn't mean they have to
No,
have it.
and that's how I'm with him too. I'm a big believer. Like what we have going on has nothing to do with her. So you don't feel because we're into it, you can't call, because you best believe if Riley was with you, I would call you every single day.
Yeah,
like I don't care.
Yeah.
So I've let him know that I'm not that baby mama. Like I'm not using what happened in the past. Like. Stuff's still going on with old girl, I'm still like, look,
internet gangster, and what is it? Internet gangsters, bullying.
Yeah, I said at the end of the day, I still want you to be a dad. That's all I want. That's all I pray for. But it is what it is.
Is there anything else that you want to say or share before we finish up?
I really enjoyed this. This was really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
I hope this gets big. Like this is really cool.
Thank you. I think it's gonna be big, and if it's not crazy big and national, like it's just gonna impact and change people's worlds.
Yeah, I would come back.
Cool. Yeah. So I appreciate you being on the podcast because it's so fun. I've known you for years, and I've learned more about you in this little bit of time. This podcast, once again, is focused on women from all walks of life. And what they've gotten out of life and what they're experiencing. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, tell your story, be your own brand, live your truth, and stand in your moment.
And I'm Asiah, and I'm 36 years old, and I hope y'all enjoy listening to me and kind of venting, and that you just took away just to never give up. You just listened to my story. I hope you enjoyed. As I live in my truth and stand in my moment on the LRI Infinity Let's Talk podcast.
All right now. Have you ever looked at somebody or their circumstances and wondered,
what is the reality of a homeowner who is a single, black, educated woman that will not compromise her happiness to rush a relationship? Next time, one of my travel buddies and cousin, Kendra, will be sharing her journey and telling her story on the LRI Infinity Let's Talk podcast.